All right, everyone, welcome back to Farming Simulator 25. This is Newsborn Drums, and today we're going to go over a quick tutorial about how to plant grain crops in Farming Simulator 25. So this is the greatest way to get right into the game. Very simple to do, and you'll have a lot of fun doing this and can make some money right away. Really just enjoy the fun aspect of the game. So we're going to go over what equipment you need, the steps that you need to take to get them planted, and then finally how to harvest those crops. So to start, you're going to need a tractor, so you can go to the store and pick one of those up. The next thing you'll need is some kind of cultivator or something to, till the soil. So that could be either a cultivator, a disc harrow, or a power harrow. We have a cultivator right here. All three of those types of equipment do the same thing, but I feel like cultivators are very simple to use and typically require a pretty low amount of horsepower to run. And then finally, we're going to need a seeder. So some of the crops that you can plant with seeder are different in this game than previous Farming Simulator games. So for example, you can no longer plant soybeans or sorghum with seeders. You need planters for those. So for this tutorial, we're only going to cover crops that can be planted with a seeder. And as far as that's concerned for this video, this applies to wheat, barley, oats, canola, and long grain rice. All of those are going to be planted and harvested exactly how we're going to do in this video. There are some other crops that can be planted with a seeder, but those require different harvesting techniques and different equipment that is not going to be covered in this video, so we're going to cover those at a later time. And then as you can see over there, once we are ready to harvest the crops, we'll need our combine and some kind of trailer to transport the harvest in. That could be either a semi-trailer like I have over there, or you could buy a trailer that could be pulled by a tractor. Both of them will be completely sufficient. But to start, we are first going to jump in the tractor and hook up to the cultivator, and we're going to go ahead and cultivate a field. The first step to planting any kind of crop like this is to cultivate the field. So we're going to go ahead and pull into the field. There are currently peas on this field. We don't want peas, so we're just going to get rid of them. But all that you have to do is pull into the field, press V or whatever control you've assigned to lower the cultivator. Cultivator lowers into the ground, and then as I just drive through the field and pull this cultivator behind us, you'd see that the texture of the ground is changing, indicating that we are now cultivating the field. All right, and as you can see, we have cultivated the field behind us there, so now we can go and hook up to our seeder to get the crops in the ground. All right, so to get the seeder ready, we simply just attach the seeder as I stall the engine. Classic. All right, there we go. We simply attach the seeder, and then we need to fill it with seeds. So if we open up our control menu again, all that we need to do is simply press R to refill with the seed bag next to us. And you can get a pallet of seeds, you can get a bag of seeds, or you can get a pallet of like a bag of many bags of seeds. So there's a couple things you can buy from the store, but either way, each one has 1,000 liters. And so once we fill up the seeder, you can see that we, on the bottom right there, we have 1,000 liters of seeds in the seeder. Now, to select the different seed types, all we have to do is press Y. And you can see that we are switching between different crops. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to plant wheat. So we're going to go now and head back over to the field that we just cultivated. And now before we drive into the field, I actually want to point something out that is very important when it comes to planting crops. So you'll notice that currently it is August. If we press escape and then navigate to our crop calendar here, we can actually see that we are not able to plant wheat in August. So we have seasonal growth on. If you have seasonal growth off, this doesn't matter. You can plant any crop at any time and it will grow and be ready to harvest in, just a regular amount of time. You can plant it any time during the year. However, since we do have seasonal growth on, which in my opinion is a preferred way to play because it is realistic, you can see that the green lines indicate when we can plant certain crops and the orange lines indicate when we can harvest those crops. So wheat, we can plant in September or October, and then we should be able to harvest it in July or August. Barley, same thing, September or October planting season, but you can harvest it a little bit earlier from June to July. If we jump down to something like long grain rice, you can only plant long grain rice in April and you can only harvest it in September. So different crops have different planting and harvesting windows. And so for wheat, we actually need to wait a month. So let's go back. Let's wait until September, and then we can start getting the seeds in the ground. All right, it is now September, which means we can plant our wheat. Now to use the seeder, we simply drive into the field, lower the seeder into the ground just like we did the cultivator, and then press either the B key or whatever key we have assigned to power on the seeder. And so as we begin to drive into the field, we will once again see the ground texture change ever so slightly. You can see it's got a lot thinner ridges in the ground. And also our seed volume is decreasing, indicating that the seeds are being transferred from the seeder into the ground. And as a third check, just to confirm, we can stop, jump out of the vehicle, and look on the ground. You can see that it says crop type wheat growing, versus if we walk over here, there is nothing growing there. So that shows that we have successfully planted the seeds from over there to right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and finish planting this field, and then we will move on to how to harvest the crop that we have grown. All right, and as we can see, it is now July and our crop is ready for harvest. So we could see if our crop is ready for harvest by two ways. And so the first is if we walk up to the field, we can see under the growth label there, we can see that it says ready to harvest. A second way is if we jump into the mini map, look at our growth menu, we can see that field 83 is orange, which indicates that it is ready for harvest. So to harvest a crop, we need a combine with a suitable header, and we can see that this header is suitable. This is the Vario 620, the class Vario 620 header. And we can see that this is a suitable header by jumping into the store. So if I press the P key, click on grain headers, there's our header that we have right here, the Vario 620. And we can see on the icons below that I can harvest the following crop types. The first one being wheat, which is what we have planted in our field. So if we jump into the combine, all we have to do is simply start the engine, unfold the harvester. This will open up the grain tank and get the harvester all prepped and ready to go. And now we simply just turn on our header, lower it down, and away we go into the field. Now there is something important that I want to note here. So there are two things that we can do with the straw swath. As you can see, currently we are dropping a straw swath. I would highly recommend doing this because, as we will discuss in a future video, straw can be baled and then sold as a byproduct for additional income, or it can be used in various ways to take care of your animals, such as by creating manure or straw bedding. So in my opinion, straw is something that, you don't want to go to waste. It doesn't make you a ton of money if you sell it, but it's better than just throwing it back into the field and not baling it and just, essentially wasting it, because it doesn't serve any other purpose in the game if you, unless you sell it or use it for your animals. So again, I would highly recommend nibbling the straw swath on your harvester. And just to clarify though, straw can only be created by harvesting cereal crops. So that includes wheat, barley, and oats. Any other crops such as canola or sorghum or corn, for example, will not produce straw. So if you want straw, you have to use wheat, barley, or oat. Right, so as you can see, we have a full load of grain in our hopper of the harvester. So now all we do is drive over to the trailer. We have a semi-truck parked there with a trailer that can hold grain. So we're just going to extend the grain pipe. And this should be programmed to a key on your keyboard by default or to your controller. And we'll simply pull up alongside the truck here, and it will automatically unload the grain into an available empty hopper. And that's it. Harvesting these grain crops is super simple. Planting them is super simple as well. And this is a great way to get started with the Farm Sim franchise and just get right into farming right away and have a little bit of fun. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like or a comment. And if you feel so generous enough to subscribe, that would be fantastic and much appreciated. Until next time, stay tuned for more videos, and I hope y'all have a great week. Peace out. See you later.